It was a cool winter afternoon. Kyle and his girlfriend Trish just finished having lunch with their old friend Sam. The three were friends since college, sticking close together through various hardships. The couple eventually saw Sam drive off on the long city road, not knowing when they would see him again. They walked a bit to see the sights that were unfamiliar to them. Dining in a new town had always brought an enchantment to their relationship. The dead leaves of the trees near the sidewalk danced in the air from the light breeze that came so suddenly. The leaves whirled around the couple as they began flowing into an alleyway the two didn't notice the first time they passed that particular area. Kyle and Trish decided to instinctively follow the leaves, like young children enacting a fairy tale. All that had been needed would be a mysterious place to find once the leaves finished flowing. Sure enough, to their surprise, is exactly what happened. The leaves softly fell onto a floor mat with the word welcome in faded black. The couple looked up to see an old antique shop in front of them. Kyle opened the door lightly, much to Trish's disapproval. He had curiously wanted to see what the shop held. Kyle figured that the owner might need a sell or two, considering that no customers could be seen through the windows. Kyle slowly walked into the shop, smelling the scent of the vintage items that were perfectly displayed. Trish decided to wait outside by sitting on a bench next to the entrance, leaving Kyle to his own devices, while she started texting away on her phone. Every footstep on the shop's floor creaked with age. Kyle ran his fingers across the keys of an old piano, hearing the thick tones which echoed slightly around him. Across the counter on top of a shelf had been an item that caught Kyle's eyes. It was a long rectangular case with strange engravings. Markings that surrounded the case seemed to slightly move around the object, causing its lure to be enticing. Kyle reached for the case until a hand slapped his from the object's reach. "Ouch! What the hell?" Kyle said in a surprised tone. An old man sternly gazed at the young man he had just hit. "What is it that you want here, youngster?" he said impatiently. Kyle looked at the old man with a kind of fascination. The old man had been dressed in former English attire. He had a regal aura about him. Kyle felt that the old man before him somehow didn't belong in our time. "I couldn't take my eyes off this box, sir. Is it for sale?" Kyle stated as he took out his wallet, flipping through the cash inside, awaiting for an answer. "I'm afraid that the box isn't for sale, sir," the man continued. "This box holds a very rare and important item. It is said that the item inside once belonged to the devil himself. If you can believe that sort of thing." The old man let out a slight laugh. "Everything has a price, so please, how much?" Kyle demanded, showing the $100 bills poking out of his wallet's billfold. The old man yelled back in a strict manner, "It is not for sale, and that's final. Good day, young man." The old man walked back to the storage area in all haste. Kyle stood at the same spot, staring at the box. In a quick and rash decision, he swiped the trancing object, leaving behind $400 as he stormed out of the shop. Trish quickly stopped texting when Kyle grabbed her hand, hastily walking her away from the old shop. Just behind the front window, the old man looked at them leaving, with a sinister smile on his face. "Hey, what's the rush, Kyle? Is everything okay?" Trish said, trying to slow him down. Kyle told her that everything was fine. Later that night, Kyle took Trish home. He then made it to his house, exhausted from the daring deed of stealing a pen that belonged to a mythical character. Kyle laughed at the thought as he sat on his recliner, examining the box closely. The box was slowly opened to reveal a golden pin resting in a cushioned interior. "I went through all this crap for a pin?" he thought to himself. Inside the box had been a small letter. Kyle opened the piece of paper, scanning its contents, which read, "To the owner of this pen, do not hold it. Do not use it. This pen will tell you the past, present, and future. This may sound tempting, but for your sake and sanity, please do not fall for its temptation. This thing will take everything from you. It will always be yours until you give it away or until you die. You have been warned." Kyle thought about what the letter said. However, in this day and age, no one believed in this sort of supernatural mumbo-jumbo anymore. Kyle grabbed the pin from its cushioned abode. Examining its beautiful craftsmanship, he had begun to place it back into the box when the pin took a life of its own, possessing Kyle's hand, making him unable to use it. The pin tip landed on the nearest flat surface, writing words that Kyle could not yet view. The possessed hand wrote quickly, every word placed in perfection. Kyle finally read the message. His eyes lock when he sees the box. The item he stole will soon take its toll. In the meantime, ask me why, ask me how, ask me about the past, ask me about the future, or ask me about now. I will never lie, nor would I ever try to pull the wool over your eyes. Okay, Kyle nervously said. Why me? His hand once again took a life of its own, writing something new that couldn't be seen until it was done. Finally completed, he read the next finished message. Pride was your sin. You let me in. You opened the box and took me out. The consequences you must face, so don't go on and pout. Now before you do something dumb, I'll make your hand go numb. But I'll be a sport and let you retort. Open the window and give me a toss. Let me just show you exactly who is the boss. Kyle did exactly as he was instructed, opening the window to forcibly toss the creepy pin outside. He saw with delight as the pin hit the road hard, smashing into pieces, scattering onto the ground. Kyle closed the window, heading off to bed to finally get some rest. The next morning, Kyle woke up relaxed with a big smile on his face. He went into the living room and saw the box on the table. Was it really a dream? He thought. Kyle once again opened the box. It was empty. He let out a big sigh of relief. If last night happened, then he was glad that the pin was gone. Kyle proceeded to get ready for the day. He shaved, bathed, and was ready to urinate when he felt a sharp pain hit him between the scrotum and the shaft. The pain was excruciating. Kyle had to keep urinating since his bladder reached its fill limit. Urine flowed weakly into the toilet. Soon blood began to pour out. Finally, after an hour of screaming and pain, what looked like the tip of a pin exposed itself from the entrance of the urinary meatus. Kyle slowly pulled the gold pin out as blood and urine flowed more excessively. He finally pulled the pin free while collapsing on the floor in agony. The pin had once again been in control of his hand as it started writing on the wall. Once completed, the message read, "Now you know you can't let me go. You just found out what I'm about. So don't try to run or you'll be done. You can go ahead and try. However, you'll most likely die." Kyle teared up as he wondered how Trish would take this kind of situation. Would she leave him? No. Kyle knew that their love would conquer anything that got in its way. The pin once again slammed its tip into a flat surface, responding to what Kyle had just thought. The message read, "You think she loves you, but that's not true. You might want to take a seat when I tell you that she's pleasing another man's meat. You naive sod, she really loves his rod. She had you fooled like a wolf dressed as a lamb. I think you know him well. It's your best friend Sam." Kyle's eyes widened with disbelief. "No, you're lying. You're lying," he said, trying to shake the pen off his hand. Again it started writing. "You blame me for what you failed to see. She stopped loving you days ago. When your friend visited her, she decided to go with the flow. She saw what he had, and trust me, it makes you look sad. You want proof? Take a chance. Get up off of your ass and take a stance. Go to her house and find what you seek. Look through her window and take a peek." The pen allowed Kyle the use of his hand, letting him put on his clothes. He hesitantly drove to Trisha's house and got off his car, sneaking to her bedroom window. Kyle peeked inside and his heart shattered into pieces. Sam was laying on her bed as Trish was already pleasing him. Kyle sat on the ground crying while blaming himself for not being a better boyfriend. The pen took over his hand, writing on a notepad that Kyle brought with him. "You're not at fault. She took the relationship and perverted it without halt. I know what you want, and it's not just a taunt. If you give me control, you will be on a roll. I will kill him and I will torture her. I will make her suffer and wear her skin like a fur. Just say when and we can begin." Kyle looked up at the night sky for a moment and said, "Forgive me." He looked at the pen and silently said, "When." Kyle blacked out. In that moment of utter darkness, he could hear the muffled sounds of a man and woman viciously screaming, while he subconsciously hid in the complete safety of his mind. Silence soon took over, followed by the sounds of police sirens crying in the distance. Kyle's eyes shot open as he looked in front of him to witness numerous officers with their guns pointed at him. The moment he opened his blood-soaked mouth, the police fired. Kyle fell to his knees, dropping the pen with a weak smile on his face, finally free from its demonic influence. The police closed out the crime scene. A small wind allowed the pen to roll on the sidewalk, stopping by the feet of an old Englishman, who picked up the pen with a smile and placed it back in its box as he walked away into the now silent night.